Hello, everyone, and welcome to GeoCortex AI and Consulting's official YouTube channel. Today, we bring you a detailed video introducing GIS, Geographic Information Systems. Have you ever wondered how Google Maps finds the fastest route in seconds, even when traffic conditions are constantly changing? Or how Uber knows exactly where you are and instantly connects you with the nearest driver? Or how governments and organizations predict flood-prone areas even before disasters happen? All of this is possible because of one powerful technology, a system that understands location, analyzes data, and helps make smarter decisions. This technology is called GIS, Geographic Information Systems. And in today's video, we're going to understand what GIS is, how it works, and why it's used across industries all over the world. But before we understand GIS in detail, let's break it down into something very simple. GIS is made up of three parts: geographic, information, and system. First, geographic. This simply means anything related to locations on Earth. It answers questions like, what is where? Why is something located there? And how different places are connected. Next is information. Data by itself is just raw facts, but when we process it, analyze it, and give it meaning, it becomes information. And finally, system. A system is simply a group of components working together to achieve a goal. So when we combine all three, geographic plus information plus system, we get GIS, a system that works with location-based information. In simple words, GIS helps us understand the world by analyzing data based on location. Technically, GIS is defined as a computer system used for collecting, storing, analyzing, and displaying geographically related information. To understand GIS better, we first need to understand something called an information system. An information system stores data and allows us to retrieve useful information from it. For example, if you ask, "What is John's phone number?" the system gives you the answer. But basic systems have limitations. If you ask, "Whose number is this?" it becomes difficult to find. This is where advanced systems come in, systems that can store, manage, and analyze data efficiently. And GIS is exactly that, an advanced information system, but with one major difference. It works with location-based data. Now that we understand what an information system is, let's define GIS more clearly. GIS is not just one thing. It can actually be understood in two different but connected ways. First, let's think of GIS as a toolbox. These tools help us to store data, analyze it, transform it, and finally visualize it in the form of maps. For example, imagine you have data about different cities. GIS tools allow you to take that data, analyze patterns, and display it as a map showing population, growth, or trends. Now let's move to the second way of understanding GIS, as an information system. In this perspective, GIS is not just tools, it's a complete system that manages both spatial and non-spatial data. Spatial data tells us where something is, and attribute data tells us what that thing is. For example, a hospital on a map is just a location, but GIS can also store additional details like its name, capacity, and services. This connection between location and information is what makes GIS different from normal systems. So when we combine both ideas, GIS as a toolbox and GIS as a system, we get a powerful technology that can store, analyze, and understand the world around us. And this is exactly why GIS is used in so many industries, from urban planning to disaster management to business analytics. Now let's move to one of the most important concepts in GIS, the feature model. This is the foundation of how GIS represents the real world. In reality, the world is complex. We have buildings, roads, rivers, forests, everything around us. But GIS simplifies this complexity into basic elements called features. These features are represented in three main forms: points, lines, and polygons. Let's start with points. Points are the simplest type of feature. They represent a specific location with no length or width. Examples of points include cities, schools, restaurants, or even your current location. Next, we have lines. Lines represent features that have length but no width. These are used to represent things like roads, rivers, pipelines, or routes. Finally, we have polygons. Polygons represent areas, meaning they have both length and width. These are used for countries, lakes, land parcels, or buildings. So using just these three elements, GIS can represent almost everything in the real world. But there's more. Some data is not discrete, it is continuous. This type of data is represented as surfaces, for example, elevation, temperature, or rainfall. Unlike points or polygons, surfaces can have an infinite number of values. Another important concept here is scale. The way we represent something depends on how zoomed in or out we are. For example, a river can be shown as a line or as a polygon depending on the level of detail. So the feature model is essentially how GIS simplifies the real world into manageable, structured data. And once data is structured like this, it becomes much easier to analyze, visualize, and make decisions. Now that we understand how GIS represents the real world, let's see how GIS actually works in practice. GIS follows a structured process, a step-by-step workflow used to solve real-world problems. Step 1. Define the problem. Every GIS project starts with a question. Step 2. Define the criteria. What factors will help us answer this question? Step 3. Collect or create the data. Step 4. Analyze the data. This is where GIS becomes powerful. Step 5. Generate output, usually in the form of maps, charts, or reports. And finally, make decisions based on the results. And if the result is not satisfactory, the process repeats. This workflow is used across industries, from disaster management to business planning. To support this workflow, GIS is built on 4 major subsystems. The first is Data Input Subsystem. This subsystem converts real-world data into digital GIS format. The second is Data Storage and Retrieval. This allows us to store large amounts of spatial and attribute data efficiently and retrieve it quickly when needed. The third is Data Analysis, the heart of GIS. This is where spatial operations like overlay, buffering, and modeling are performed. And finally, Data Output and Display. This subsystem presents results in a way that people can understand through maps, charts, and visualizations. Together, these subsystems make GIS a complete and powerful system. Now that we understand how GIS systems are structured, let's look at what GIS actually does on a day-to-day basis. GIS performs 4 key activities: data collection, data management, spatial analysis, and visualization. First, data collection. This is where GIS gathers information from different sources like satellites, GPS devices, surveys, or existing maps. Next, data management. Once the data is collected, it needs to be stored, organized, and maintained properly. Then comes spatial analysis, the most powerful part of GIS. This is where GIS finds patterns, relationships, and answers questions like which areas are high risk, what is the best route, what changes over time. And finally, visualization. This is how results are presented in the form of maps, charts, or dashboards. These visual outputs make it easier for people to understand complex data and make informed decisions. And together, these activities allow GIS to solve real-world problems across industries. Now that we understand how GIS works, let's look at what actually makes up a GIS system. GIS is built on 5 key components: data, software, hardware, people, and procedures. Let's start with the most important component, data. Without data, GIS cannot function. All analysis, maps, and decisions depend on the quality of data. Next is software, the tools used to process and analyze geographic data. These tools allow us to create maps, perform analysis, and manage spatial information. The third component is hardware, the physical systems that run GIS. This can range from powerful servers to desktops to even handheld devices used in the field. Next comes people, the individuals who use GIS to solve problems. These include GIS analysts, engineers, developers, and decision makers. And finally, procedures. These are the methods and workflows used to perform GIS tasks efficiently. When all these components work together, GIS becomes a complete and powerful system. If even one component is weak, the entire system becomes less effective. Now let's focus on one of the most important components, GIS software. GIS software is what allows us to actually work with geographic data. It is used to create maps, analyze data, and manage spatial information. There are many GIS software tools used around the world. Some of the most popular ones include QGIS, ArcGIS, and Google Earth. These tools are used across many industries. In urban planning, GIS helps design smarter cities. In disaster management, it helps predict risks and respond faster. And in business, it helps optimize locations, logistics, and decision-making. This is where real GIS work happens, inside these tools, and this is exactly where most beginners struggle, understanding how to actually use these tools in real projects. But once you understand the concepts we're covering, learning the tools becomes much easier. Now let's move into one of the most powerful capabilities of GIS, spatial analysis. This is where GIS goes beyond mapping and starts answering real-world questions. There are several types of spatial analysis methods used in GIS. First, buffering. This is used to analyze distance. For example, finding all schools within 2 kilometers of a hospital. Next, overlay. This combines multiple layers to find relationships. For example, identifying areas where high population overlaps with flood risk. Then we have network analysis. This is used for routing and path optimization. For example, finding the shortest or fastest route between 2 locations. Logistics platforms like Uber Technologies Inc. widely use this. Finally, interpolation. This is used to predict values in areas where data is not directly available. For example, estimating temperature or rainfall across a region. These methods allow GIS to turn raw data into meaningful insights. And this is what makes GIS an essential tool in decision-making. Now, let's look at what GIS can actually do in real-world situations. GIS helps answer one of the most basic questions. Where is something? This is done using location maps, showing the position of features. It can also answer, what is nearby? This is useful for finding services, facilities, or resources within a certain distance. Another important question, what is inside a specific area? For example, analyzing crime incidents within a city zone. GIS can also answer, what has changed over time? For example, population growth or urban expansion. And finally, what patterns exist? This helps identify trends like high-density areas or risk zones. These capabilities make GIS useful in many fields. For example, flood mapping for disaster management, agriculture monitoring to improve crop production, urban planning for building smarter cities, and environmental protection to monitor natural resources. Today, GIS is used worldwide across industries to solve complex problems and support better decisions. Now let's look at some more advanced applications of GIS, where things go beyond basic mapping and analysis. One of the most common advanced uses is route optimization. This helps find the most efficient path based on distance, time, or conditions. Another powerful technique is viewshed analysis, which determines what can be seen from a specific location. This is often used in surveillance, planning, and site selection. GIS is also used for terrain modeling to understand elevation and surface characteristics. This helps in construction, flood prediction, and land analysis. Another important application is infrastructure planning. For example, deciding where to build roads, pipelines, or communication networks. These advanced techniques are widely used in fields like military planning and telecom network design. And this shows how powerful GIS can become when combined with advanced analysis. Now, let's take a step behind the scenes and understand how real-world GIS projects actually work. In real projects, everything starts with data. This data can come from satellites, field surveys, or GPS devices. Once collected, the data is brought into GIS software like QGIS. Here, the data is organized, cleaned, and prepared for analysis. Next comes analysis, where spatial techniques are applied to extract insights. Finally, the results are presented as maps, reports, or dashboards. This entire workflow, from data to decision, is what real GIS work looks like. And this is where most beginners face challenges. They understand the theory, but struggle to apply it in real-world projects. Let's quickly recap everything we've covered in this video. We started by understanding what GIS is, a system used to analyze geographic data. We learned how GIS represents the real world using features like points, lines, and polygons. We saw how GIS works in layers, combining different types of data to generate insights. We also explored the GIS workflow, from defining a problem to making decisions. And we looked at how GIS is used across industries worldwide, from urban planning to disaster management. In the next video, we'll go deeper into one of the most important concepts in GIS, vector data models. And if you want to actually learn how to use GIS tools step by step and build real-world projects, I've designed a complete practical course that takes you from concepts to real implementation. You can find the link in the description below. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.